Tableau Prep empowers technical and non-technical users to prepare and transform their data in ways that might otherwise exceed their current abilities through its modern interface that is easy to use and understand. However, there exists a painful product gap in terms of integration with Tableau Server that can cost teams heavily invested in Tableau Prep solutions hundreds of hours and thousands of clicks. Unfortunately, enduring this pain is not a one-time thing either. Allow me to explain. Most organizations or teams will stand up 3 Tableau Server instances, one each for development, user acceptance testing, and production. In efforts to keep the servers relatively in sync with one another in terms of the amount and state of content, server administrators can create a backup of the production server and restore the contents to the other servers. Upon doing so, a user can navigate to the development server or UAT server, and the content will, without any additional efforts, be accessible and behave as if it were being consumed on the production server. This is true for all content types aside from Tableau Prep flows that read from and/or result in the creation or update of a Tableau Publish data source. For flows meeting one or both of those conditions, each corresponding input or output node pointing to the original Tableau server sites must be manually updated to reflect the correct Tableau server site value for which the published data source resides, and must be the same site you are signed into. Imagine doing this for hundreds of flows each time your production server's contents are cloned. If it sounds painful, then you would be right. That very problem is the one I have addressed with my flow restoration utility. In this demo, I will run 50 identical flows shown on screen through the tool. Each of the 50 flows will be downloaded from the server, receive an update that results in the Tableau server URL and name maintained in the flow's metadata being updated to reflect the correct values, and finally, republished back to the server. At the end of this process, each of these 50 flows Tableau server site values reflected on their connections tabs will display the current site I am signed into. For the purposes of this demo, and so I do not have to recreate the staging area, I will republish the flows back to the restored flows folder, which is currently empty. If this was not a demo, the flows would be republished back to their original location, effectively overwriting the original flow. Now, there's nothing to it but to do it. To recap what has occurred, each of the 50 flows in my staging folder have been downloaded, updated, and republished back to the restored flows folder. Those flows can now run successfully after having their Tableau server site value updated to reflect the site for which I am signed into. In real-world scenarios, this would be done site-wide as opposed to being applied to a single folder. Runtimes will vary based on the amount of flows on your site and the data embedded within them, if any. Use the next 15 seconds to learn more about the tool.